My blast furnace was up here. I have moved it over here and made the improved version. Now, it doesn't do anything better inherently, but I can put preheaters on the side, which make it faster. It does need power, so I also made... You can't see it, but I made this thing, the thermoelectric generator, which generates a small amount of passive power just by being next to hot and cold blocks. Thanks to this medium tier battery, I can actually stockpile enough energy to power it for an entire stack of steel. But first things first, it's spooky time. Let's plant some pumpkins. Why do I want pumpkins? Well, I will show you a little bit later. I extended this. It was 3, it's now 4, plus I can turn these off so they don't interrupt production. And I slid this entire thing left so I can actually walk through here now. The first thing I'm going to do is make the machine that makes the part that goes here and actually lets me connect all of these drawers into my storage, and that'll make a lot of crafting a lot easier. The multi-servo press is what I need. Okay, the redstone flux coil. 1 flux coil, easy. The block of iron. 1. And then that last thing, that's the tricky part. That's why I needed the 4 deployers in the assembly line. I needed empowered void crystal, and a low voltage wire coil, and an electrum wire, and a vacuum tube. Wow. I will have to build the empowerer first. I've already been sidelined. Thank you, expert crafting recipes. I need 4 display stands, which needs 4 bottoms, and I need 1 empowerer, which also needs a bottom. There we go. A Restonia crystal. So I'm going to need to zap... Oh, let's just do a whole stack of these. What else before I head upstairs? A diamantine crystal. To reconstruct a diamond. That's the empowerer. Task completed. Now make 4 display stands. Now I will take these upstairs into the prearranged locations. The empowerer goes here. It looks like I have to wire them differently. Now they're all powered. But anyway, this is the empowerer, which is the second method of producing ingredients in Actually additions. Back to the multi-servo press, which needs the advanced component, which needs 2 empowered void crystals. Tar. I need to go back to that oily carpet. Okay, first of all, let's celebrate. Carpet oil. Oil can be tapped out of crude oil-soaked carpet endlessly by right-clicking it with a sponge. Upon right-clicking, crude oil will erupt from the carpet, ready to be picked up. Question is, do I get tar directly? I suspect I have to make the fractionating still. Do I have all the pieces already? I actually have all the pieces already. We'll build this against my power line. Oh, this could really go anywhere, actually. So, there. Alright, let's find that oil. It was a long way away, so I'm going to take the shortcut through the nether. I'm going to follow these vases, which I kind of used as a rough waypoint system. Oh, it's not for the other. This whole dimension looks alike. Here we are. So alike. You take one wrong turn and you get lost. Ask me how I know. Oh yeah. I put that there. I put that there because there was something nasty in here. That thing. Which I really hope is not tall enough to fit under that. I saw that. My first thought was, oh, it's a warden. But then I didn't hear the breathing, and I didn't hear the heartbeat. But no, that's a Ravager. And it destroyed my boxes. Fortunately, I do have this. How much health do you have? Let me get close enough to get a 68 out of 100. Oh, it destroyed this too. Hello. Can't tell if they're loaded. I also don't know if this came from a spawner. Plugging that gap, just for the sake of sanity. And if I see another one of those, or a spawner, I'm going to run. Maybe it came from there? Maybe it came from there. Either way, I'm just going to stay away from both of those. This is where I found the computers, by the way. I did my other trick of just reaching into the room, putting these torches here on the side, and that's enough to light up the area enough that none of these husks spawn anymore. And then over here, up the escalator, there's my oil. And I'm going to get down there with the help of this rope. That looks like it's all the way down. It has stopped deploying. Crude oil-soaked carpet. Yeah, that's oil. One bucket, 2 buckets. 12. These barrels do hold their contents. So that's 12 buckets right there. And now this goes up by the fractionating still. In fact, I will plonk it right straight down on top. Import from the top. Bitumen. Okay. I have to make a pyrolyzer as well to make tar. Let's make the pyrolyzer. You also only need basic components. Oh, nether bricks. You know, I cannot get nether bricks by making netherrack because, well, there's no netherrack in the nether. So the only way to get nether brick is to haunt regular bricks. I haunt regular bricks using create, but I need soul sand. I couldn't make soul sand until last week because that needed actually additions. So I'm going to take this one block of sand. I am going to go up here. Toss it. There's my soul sand. I will now put this here in this convenient spot that someone left. I will set that on fire. That's soul fire. This is now spooky fire. I can haunt things. One of the things I can haunt is bricks. Only that left belt can process 16 things at a time. This right one is still this slower hopper. So that'll take a little while to go through. I'm baking pumpkins because I want flowers. I once again tried bone mealing grass. It did not make flowers in this dimension. It did not make flowers in the nether. But I remembered something. Iron golems usually drop a poppy or two. I may be able to get a flower this way. I just need a lot of iron. And pumpkins. I don't want to fight them myself. They hit pretty hard. Place my bamboo spikes. Let's find out the hard way. They're not. Oh, I also installed this extra mod. Extreme Sound Manager. An amazing quality of life mod that makes individual sounds quieter. Like this annoying sound. We got a poppy. I do. Then I'm going to go over here. I made an extra one of these alchemy catalysts. The piston will push it under this, which changes what the mana pool does. Now it's going to convert between different flower types. That poppy now becomes a blue orchid. And that is one of the flowers that I want. You will go in here. The order actually doesn't matter. I now get more drops from this weapon. That's lucky level 1. Luckier needs ender pearls. I have no idea where those come from. Actually, I do. I have to make Enderman. Summoning Enderman requires the 3rd tier of Eidolon summoning gem, which I don't have the machines to make yet. I am going to put this weapon here. Back on track. I will take these nether bricks. I will make 2 nether brick blocks out of them. Pyrolyzer. Quest completed. You can go here. Take my 24 by Tumen. Pyrolyze you. Oh, and this takes a while. I've done that. I have done that. And I get tar, and I get coal. And I get more creosote. Echoes in the void. Get a sculpt scrubber. Get 2 shards. Let us go get that real quick, just to finish that side quest. I don't need this blast furnace anymore. Blast furnace gets me 1 echo shard. Pyrolyzer will get me 2, plus whatever that fluid is. Yay! One, 2, 3, 4. I had to make those 2 machines, including finding that oil, just to do that, so that I could then do this with the regular. I am definitely putting these in the ground. Jumping over them is going to be annoying. An empowered void crystal. And that is what I need to make the multi-servo press. Oh, this is also something I need a machine for. That needs the induction smelter. And then this, 2 vacuum tubes. Thank you. Quest completed. Vacuum a tube. The copper goes there. The electrum goes there. The 2 tubes I made go here. The empowered void ones go here. And the base for this was a Duraplast sheet. That needs the blast chiller. Okie dokie, I have to make all 4. That is how the quest books seem to arrange them. I really can't complain. Blast chiller. Install the metal press. Womp. 1 Duraplast sheet comes from a 1/4 bucket of phenolic resin. That was our refinery. And I'm out of power. That's fine. The phenolic resin gets poured into this. And now it's making Duraplast. 1. I do need 2. Those are going to go here. There we go. 2 advanced electronic component. They're very advanced. The multi-servo press. Finally, I can make printed circuits. Here we go. Yep, this is one of the big ones. That's a big step. That's halfway through. Which one's the silicon? Is it you? It is. You go in there. You other 3, come with me. The calculation press. Certus quartz. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not even 10 seconds. That's pretty fast. So step 1 is make the circuit. Step 2 is make the silicon base plate. The printed silicon goes on one half, the circuit goes on another, and redstone between. Almost invisible progress bar rises, and we get our calculation processor. Quest complete. First things first, build that. A calculation and a logic, and the logic looks like it needs gold. One thing I never liked about AE was remembering which press uses what metal. Obviously the silicon press uses silicon, but after that, you just have to remember. Logic processor. Finally, you go there. Go there. Why are you not building? And give you a... Where's my priority setting? Just call it 50, as long as it's more than 0. That's it. That has put all these drawers into this terminal. I don't have to grab a stack of this and a stack of this and a stack of this. I can just access all of it from here. See, I have 724 iron ingots. Those were not there 30 seconds ago. That is going to save me a lot of crafting time. Let's start gearing up towards another eye. And now things get interesting. The old eye needs 100 buckets of the flow of time. I get a quarter of a bucket if I drain a time in a bottle. So I need 400 glass bottles and 400 sulfur dust. I need to automate sulfur dust. The last place I can get sulfur dust is from the crucible. Now, I might want to automate the crucible anyway because it's one of my 2 ways of getting gold. Actually, here. With confusing powder and a crucible, you can convert lead into gold. This contraption needed to automate the crucible, might take some tinkering, but it is possible. I have fooled with this a little bit between sessions. It is possible, and I am going to do it. The first trick is filling it with water every time, and that turned out to be easy. Just a simple fluid pipe from this machine, which makes infinite water just by being next to water. And as for dropping stuff into it, because this recipe is a single step and doesn't need mixing, I can just drop 2 things in and wait. The open crate is perfect for this kind of thing. It takes anything that gets inserted into it and drops it straight down dead center. It only works with automation. I cannot put things in there by hand. It only has 1 internal inventory slot. I cannot simultaneously put 2 different things into it at once. So I am going to feed into it with a hopper and have the droppers go into the hopper. Something like that. You there. You there. 20 ticks, that's 1 second. When I experimented, it took about 9 or 10 seconds. And so this redstone signal, every time the timer ticks, both of these droppers, they'll put one of their items into this hopper, which will feed into the open crate, which will fall. Oh, and this here highlights one of the frustrating things that makes redstone building so difficult to get into. Redstone dust doesn't recognize these as machines that need a redstone power feed, so it only connects forwards. I have to do something like this to force it to split. At least in Java Edition. Bedrock works differently. Oh, also, I put this lever here so I could disable the timer. There's a piece missing. And for now, I'm going to reuse this piece. I want you there. And I want... First, the item frame with the sulfur dust will restrict this hopper hawk to only picking up sulfur dust, which is what I want. In one of these, I will put the enchanted ash. In the other... And that has automated sulfur. Now I just have to do this 400 times. But this can easily do that. Also, I'm going to need to make another hopper hawk. But that is on the way to make the sulfur to make these. What do I need to make the overclocked clock? Actually pour 1 bucket into a regular clock. Yep, 1 clock. What is reality alloy? Okay, I have to make an arc furnace. I am not finishing this chapter tonight, because I have to make another giant, very power-hungry machine. And a reality charge. Oh, once it's empty, I have to add confusing powder. Confusing powder is carpet dust in a centrifugal separator. I can start on that, though. Here's my carpet dust. Where's my centrifugal separator? Is that one I've made? No, that's one I have to make yet. Quest completed. Find some power. This is some power. So is this. Barrel here. Carpet dust on top. This is slow. I'm glad I started this. Also, there's only a 10% chance for this? 10% chance. But 1 confusing powder so far. Yeah, going through 2,000 of these at this speed is silly. That will definitely go on a list of things to do. But I automated the cauldron. I've done the bulk haunting. So let's look at the terrestrial agglomeration plate. A small amount of terrasteel is needed to make the reality frame. So it's time to catch up on Botania. Yeah, I guess it is. An empowered palace crystal, a rune of water, a rune of earth, a rune of mana, a rune of air, a rune of fire. I pre-made most of those. An empowered palace crystal. Oh dear. Cyan dye is easy. How do I get prismarine shards? Okay, that's actually easy. Atomic reconstructor. Okay, this is guaranteed. I'm going to do the guaranteed one. 3 prismarine shards. That gives me a regular palace crystal. And then that, and the 3 shards there, and the 1 die. We'll energize it. Terrestrial agglomeration. Now where is it going to go? Now, the mana. I need sparks. There's a gold nugget, any 2 petals, and 2 blaze powder. What gives me the most blaze powder? I'm not going to just craft it, that gives me 2. If I crush it, I get at least 3, sometimes 4. The pulverizer gives me a guaranteed 3 plus maybe sulfur. I'm going to crush it. I have other ways to get sulfur. 4. 4 works. There's a spark. There's a spark. Let's put 1 on my pool. And 1 on the plate. That plate uses half of a pool per operation. I'm more than a half, so this should work. I can make this right now. I need to use the create drain to empty these. Apply iron bars to a copper casing. Copper is copper on any plank. There's a copper. There's a any plank. What's an easy way to do this? This works once. And then the clock. The overclocked clock. I just need to make the eye then. One more down. Graphite electrode. I need a multi-servo press. I need a rod cast. HOP graphite dust comes from an HOP graphite ingot, which is pressing coke dust into that ingot cast, and coke dust is just coke. So the arc furnace is interesting. It needs 3 of these rods, and the rods, they wear out slowly. They're not infinite, but they last a long time, and they're supposed to be annoying to make, and they wear out at a constant rate while the machine is running, no matter how many things it's processing simultaneously. And it can process up to 12 things at once, so it behooves you, if you want to make the rods last as long as possible, to always process 12 things at a time. The thing is, it's a very power-hungry machine. You need serious energy production to run it at that speed all the time. And what I have now, I don't think can even run it on one slot continuously, and once the battery runs out. So I'm gonna have to speed up my generator up there. So it's very interesting trying to optimize it, because you don't have to, but there's a lot of work behind it, and it really fits into the feel of the pack in general, because also it has 3 contact points for running power to it. Now, if you are running with an external mod that has its own power cables, you only need to connect 1. But if you're just using Immersive Engineering and its small cables, you have to use all 3 contact points, otherwise you can't feed enough power to it. And you also have to worry about using transformers to step up your voltage to get a huge amount of power through the main cable that leads to it, and then split it back down to hit all 3 of those points. Very much unlike basically any other tech mod where you just build a magic pipe and power goes through it. So from a design standpoint, I love the thought that went into it. And I might have it up and going, or at least the parts to build it next time we visit this pack. So I will see you probably next week, and fingers crossed this time maybe finish Chapter 4. Certainly work towards one more of our 12 eyes, and get back out of these rooms where I've been stuck. Catch you next time.